What if everything you've been taught about love and intimacy is only the surface? What if the true connection between two people, especially as we age, is more profound than what society has led us to believe? Could it be that love, especially in later years, is not about grand gestures or societal norms, but about something deeper, something pure? If you're over 60 and seeking a love that transcends the physical, this video might just change how you see intimacy forever. In this story, we'll dive into an ancient wisdom passed down through generations, where a wise woman speaks of the sacred, almost forgotten aspects of love, intimacy, and human connection. The world may have twisted what we think is normal, but the real secret might just be in the way we touch, listen, and honor one another in the most profound ways. Are you ready to uncover the truth behind love's most sacred gestures and how they can transform your relationships today, especially in your later years? In this video, you'll discover why true love after 60 is far more than physical attraction. It's about the respect, tenderness, and mutual understanding that come from a lifetime of experience. We'll explore how to connect on a deeper level, emotionally and spiritually, and why the greatest intimacy can sometimes be found in the simplest, most vulnerable gestures. So, if you're wondering how intimacy can remain fulfilling and meaningful as you age, or if you're seeking that rare connection that transcends the superficial, stick with us until the end. This might just be the wisdom you've been waiting for. Why you need to watch. Discover the real meaning of love and intimacy. Uncover how deeper emotional connections, not just physical closeness, form the foundation of a meaningful relationship as we age. Embrace a new way of expressing affection. Find out how the simple acts of touch and respect can honor your partner in ways that words often can't. Unlearn the taboos of society. Learn why societal norms often mask the true beauty of love and how breaking free from these constructs can open up a new world of connection. Connect more deeply with your partner. This wisdom can help you create a bond that goes beyond the surface, leading to a fulfilling, lasting relationship. Understanding boundaries and comfort. In a world where emotional intimacy can be complicated, learn how to approach affection with sensitivity and care, respecting each other's personal journeys. Stay with us through the entire video, because this ancient wisdom could redefine how you approach love and intimacy, especially in your golden years. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I encourage you to click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on all our latest content. I'm eager to hear your thoughts on today's topic. If you enjoy the content, please comment 1 below. If it doesn't resonate with you, leave a 0. Your feedback is crucial as it helps me create better videos that align with your interests. Now, let's get started. In a remote village, nestled between rolling hills and whispering winds, there lived a wise and revered old woman whose knowledge stretched far beyond the years she had lived. She was a living testament to the ancient wisdom passed down through generations, and her presence in the village was as constant as the stars themselves. Her voice, soft yet commanding, had the power to calm the stormiest of hearts, and her eyes, though weathered by time, still sparkled with the fire of a life fully lived. One crisp, starry evening, when the warmth of the fire danced against the cold night air, the village's younger generation gathered around her, eager to be enveloped by her timeless teachings. As the fire crackled softly, casting flickering shadows on the walls, the old woman began to speak. Her words, though spoken gently, carried the weight of centuries of wisdom. She spoke not just with her voice, but with the depth of her soul. "My dear ones," she began, her eyes scanning the eager faces before her, "the secret to true love, to the deep and intimate connection between a man and a woman, lies not in grand gestures or eloquent words, but in the soft, tender touch that speaks volumes where language fails. Love, in its purest form, is an unspoken language, a dance of souls woven together by trust, affection, and gentle devotion." Her voice seemed to deepen with the intensity of her thoughts as she continued. "Women," she said, her gaze softening, "are not just physical beings, but creatures of profound beauty and mystery. They carry within them the essence of life itself, the power to give and nurture, to heal and create. And with that sacred power comes a longing for a love that is beyond the ordinary, a love that is expressed not through empty words, but through intimate touch, shared closeness, and mutual understanding. The young people, mesmerized by the rhythm of her words, listened intently, hanging on to each phrase as if it were a precious gem. A woman's breasts, the old woman continued, are symbols of life, fertility, femininity, and the very source of creation. They are more than physical attributes. They are a reflection of her strength, her power, and her vulnerability. When a man touches them with reverence, with gentleness, he is not merely expressing physical desire. He is acknowledging her divine essence. He is honoring her, body, mind, and spirit. A hushed reverence filled the room as the young ones absorbed every syllable, their hearts swelling with a newfound understanding. When a man caresses a woman's breasts with love, with tenderness, and with respect, the old woman went on, her voice rich with emotion, he is not just touching her body, he is touching her soul. It is an act of pure devotion, of surrender to the beauty of the moment, and a demonstration of the deepest form of trust. It is a shared vulnerability, a delicate exchange that transcends the physical and reaches into the spiritual. As the fire continued to glow and the stars watched silently from above, the old woman's words lingered in the air, leaving the young ones with a sense of awe and a quiet, deep understanding of love's complexity. They sat in silence, each of them lost in thought, contemplating the depth of her teachings. Finally, a young man, his eyes wide with curiosity and wonder, broke the silence. "Grandmother," he asked, his voice soft but filled with the weight of his question, "if this act of love is so sacred, so beautiful, then why do some people see it as something taboo, something shameful?" The old woman's smile was gentle, her eyes glistening with the wisdom of ages. She paused for a moment, as if the answer she was about to give had been waiting for just the right moment to be shared. "My dear child," she replied, her voice filled with both sorrow and understanding, "the world is often quick to place shame on what it does not understand. People fear what they cannot control, what they do not yet comprehend. But true love, true intimacy, is never something to be ashamed of. It is the most sacred connection we can experience in this world, the bridge between two souls. And to those who call it shameful, I say this: love, in all its forms, is the purest gift we can give to one another. It is not the act itself, but the intention behind it that holds meaning." Her words hung in the air like a sacred chant, settling into the hearts of the young ones who were now beginning to grasp the profound depth of what she had shared. Under the watchful gaze of the stars, the village felt more alive, more connected than ever before, united by the wisdom of the old woman and the love she had taught them to cherish. "The world is full of taboos and prejudices," the old woman began, her voice gentle but firm, often masking the true essence of love and intimacy. "These constructs, born of fear, ignorance, and tradition, often cloud our understanding of what genuine affection really is. Wisdom lies not in conforming to these shallow societal norms, but in seeing beyond them, in perceiving the deeper meaning behind each gesture of love and connection. It is only when we embrace this deeper truth that we can begin to experience love in its purest form." As she spoke, her eyes held a knowing warmth, as if she could see into the very souls of the young ones sitting before her. The fire crackled softly, casting shadows on the walls as the night deepened, and a young man, his brow furrowed in thought, raised his hand. His voice was filled with a mixture of curiosity and uncertainty. "But grandmother," he asked cautiously, "what if a woman doesn't feel comfortable with a certain kind of affection? What if she feels uneasy or even repelled? How should a man act then?" The old woman nodded slowly, her expression thoughtful. She had anticipated such a question, and there was a deep empathy in her gaze as she looked at the young man. "Ah, yes," she said, her voice softening with the understanding that comes only from years of reflection. "Each person is unique. Every soul carries its own story, its own traumas, its own desires and limitations. True love, real, profound love, is not about conquering or claiming another. It is about respecting their journey, their boundaries, and their comfort. If a woman does not feel comfortable with a certain form of affection, it is not the man's place to push or insist. Instead, he must be patient, compassionate, and respectful, and seek other ways to express his love and devotion." The room grew still as the young ones absorbed her words, their hearts opening to the deep wisdom in her counsel. They understood that love was not a conquest to be won, but a dance of mutual respect and understanding. The old woman's words had reached deep into their spirits, teaching them that intimacy is not only about physical closeness but about emotional and psychological attunement as well. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Before continuing, the old woman paused for a moment, her gaze sweeping over the gathered faces. "I see many of you are reflecting on what I've shared," she said, a gentle smile playing at the corners of her lips. "If you feel moved by the story, if something resonates with you, feel free to leave a comment and share what lesson you have taken from it. These stories are meant to open hearts, to stir the soul. And remember, love is not just learned through words, but through lived experience. It is a process of discovery, an unfolding of the heart." With that, she nodded, and the young people, feeling the weight and beauty of her words, took a moment to reflect. The soft light of the moon bathed the room in its silvery glow, and the air seemed to hum with the promise of deeper understanding. One by one, their questions poured forth, each inquiry an attempt to grasp the intricacies of love and human connection. The old woman listened patiently, as always, her presence steady and grounded. Finally, as the conversation shifted, the young ones, their faces glowing with curiosity, leaned in, eager for more of the old woman's wisdom. One by one, they looked at her, awaiting her next words with intense anticipation. She could feel their hunger for knowledge, for truth, and she welcomed their unspoken questions with a serene smile, knowing that the journey they were on was one of profound importance. And so, with the night unfolding around them, the old woman spoke once more, her voice gentle but filled with power. "Now, you wish to know more about the secrets of intimacy. To truly please a woman in intimate relationships, my dear ones, it is not enough to focus on the physical. True pleasure, true connection, comes from emotional resonance. It begins in the heart, flows through the mind, and only then does it reach the body." Her words were slow, deliberate, each one carrying its weight. A woman craves not just a physical touch, but an emotional bond. She yearns for a connection that transcends the skin, that reaches into the depths of her being. To please her is not about performing a series of actions, but about attuning to her needs, her desires, her unspoken wishes. It requires patience, patience to listen, to understand, to respond. It requires the ability to be vulnerable, to open yourself fully, and to give without expectation. She paused, letting her words settle like a soft mist in the air. The young ones hung on to every syllable, their hearts swelling with the understanding that true intimacy was not something to be taken, but something to be nurtured. "The greatest gift you can give," the old woman continued, her voice barely above a whisper, "is your presence, your undivided attention, your empathy, your ability to hold space for her feelings, her thoughts, her emotions. When you give of yourself in this way, you create a bond that is unbreakable, a trust that runs deeper than any physical act. And it is in this trust, in this sacred space, that true intimacy is born." Under the watchful gaze of the moon and the soft glow of the fire, the young ones found themselves not just learning about love, but beginning to understand its sacredness. They realized that intimacy was far more than a physical connection. It was an emotional, spiritual, and psychological meeting of hearts, minds, and souls. And in that moment, they knew that their own journeys into love, with all its challenges and triumphs, had just begun. "My dear ones," the old woman began, her voice a soothing melody that seemed to echo in the hearts of those gathered around her. She paused, her eyes reflecting the wisdom of countless years, as though she had seen the world unfold in all its beauty and pain. "True intimacy," she continued, her words carrying an ethereal weight, "goes far beyond the physical. It is not merely the joining of bodies, but a sacred, delicate dance, a dance of connection, trust, and mutual surrender. It is a bond that cannot be rushed, a harmony that must be nurtured with care and patience." The fire crackled softly, and the young ones sat, captivated by the depth in her voice, allowing the essence of her words to settle into their minds and souls. To please a woman in intimacy, the old woman said, her tone gentle yet firm. It is not enough to be present in body alone. A man must be present in spirit, in emotion, in thought. He must be attentive, not only to her desires and needs, but to the unspoken language of her heart. True intimacy is rooted in communication, honest, open, and sincere. It thrives in a space where judgment has no place, where both souls can be vulnerable and authentic with one another. She smiled kindly, sensing the sincerity in the young ones' hearts as they absorbed her teachings. They were no longer simply listeners. They were beginning to understand. Her words had begun to weave a tapestry of deeper understanding about the nature of love and connection. The old woman paused again, allowing a quiet stillness to envelop the room, before continuing. "My dear friends," she said, her voice soft but filled with a quiet power, "I hope the stories I've shared with you have touched your hearts. I hope they have stirred within you an awakening, a deeper understanding of the profound beauty that exists in true love. These stories were not just lessons. They were glimpses into a way of being, of connecting with one another in a way that transcends the superficial." The young ones nodded, their eyes reflecting the gratitude they felt for the wisdom that had been passed down to them. They had listened not just with their ears, but with their hearts. The old woman continued, her voice now almost a whisper, yet still full of authority. "Through these stories, we learn that love is not confined to what can be seen or touched. It is a sacred, invisible thread that binds two souls together. It is a dance of connection, trust, and mutual surrender. It requires patience, respect, and a willingness to meet one another where they are. It is about showing up, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually. It is about offering your true self, without pretense, without fear." She smiled, her eyes twinkling with a warmth that seemed to transcend time itself. "We learn, too, the importance of open communication. True love is not about guessing or assuming. It is about creating a space where both people can speak freely, where vulnerability is met with understanding and care. It is about honoring the other person's feelings, needs, and boundaries, and allowing love to flourish in a space of mutual respect and acceptance." The room was still, save for the sound of the fire's crackling flames. The young ones, their hearts full, nodded in reverence as the old woman's words settled deeply into their minds. The lessons were profound, and they knew they would carry them with them, shaping the way they would love and connect in the future. "And now," the old woman said with a soft smile, "I invite you, dear listeners, to reflect on these stories. What lessons have you taken from them? What truths have you discovered within your own heart? Please, share your thoughts in the comments below. If the stories have touched your soul, leave a like, and if you haven't yet, subscribe to the Wise Old Age Stories channel for more inspiration on love, wisdom, and the beautiful connections that make us whole." Her voice was filled with a quiet sense of peace as she finished speaking, knowing that her words had found fertile ground in the hearts of the young ones. The fire continued to burn brightly, casting shadows that danced in harmony with the spirit of the evening, a spirit of learning, of growing, and of connecting in the most profound ways. As we come to the end of this powerful journey, I want to ask you, what's the most important lesson you've learned about love, intimacy, and connection today? Is it the importance of respecting each other's boundaries? Or perhaps it's the realization that true intimacy is about more than just physical touch. It's about deep emotional connection and mutual understanding. Think about one thing you've learned today that you're truly ready to bring into your own life. What will you practice more consciously in your relationships moving forward? Take a moment to reflect and share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear how this video has impacted your perspective on love and intimacy. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got more wisdom, stories, and life-changing content coming your way. Until next time, may your relationships be full of respect, love, and the deep connection that only wisdom and experience can bring.